All right, welcome to the Paranormal Highway. Today, the heavyweight fight is Winchester versus the White House. What's the bigger story? What's the bigger story to you? Now, right now, you can vote in the poll. Right now, put in your vote. Is it the White House? Is it the Winchester? And then maybe put in the chat or in the comments on why one is your favorite. Is it because, now, technically, what I remember is Winchester had the longer story throughout history. But the White House, if it is haunted by presidents, does that make the ghost even better? Because these are, I don't know, well known. I mean, think about it. Abraham Lincoln walking around in his underwear, staring at people. I don't know, but the mystery of the Winchester. I mean, there's so many different ways you could go on. What's the better story? It is so intriguing. I can't wait to dive right into it. So, guys, during the intro, go get your coffee, go get your popcorn, go to the bathroom. You got to slap yourself in the mirror. I don't care. Get ready because we're going to get in that vehicle. We're going to turn it on. We're ready to take a drive on the Paranormal Highway. You got the Winchester house, the mystery house. I will be playing a video on the history of the Winchester house, on why it was built. I mean, it's a crazy story. I would think that most of you that are here know about the Winchester Mystery House. Now, technically, I was there when I was like 6 or 7, but I don't really have like too much memories of the Winchester house. My brother said the reason I knew we were there because my brother says he remembers it a lot more than I do. I remember all the stairs, but of course, when I was there, there was nothing scary for me. There was no, for me, there was no evidence of a ghost. But I was 6 or 7. I was more memorized by all the stairs than, there as more of the ghost hunt. But, there's movies on Winchester. There's documentaries on Winchester. So there's a lot of stuff on Winchester, way more than the White House. So in that format, Winchester kicks the butt out of the White House just for the movies and all that. And, they're you could do tours there. I think Paranormal Pixie said she was there in her 20s. So, they have tours at the Winchester. So you can actually go visit Winchester. So for a lot of people, that's always going to be the bigger story. Now, there's stories about the White House being haunted by ex-presidents. I mean, that's pretty gnarly, right? Can you imagine sitting there at night in the White House, seeing Abraham Lincoln with his big hat, walking, with that beard, and doing the Gettysburg speech, or what if What if you heard this sound or this voice, these words in the White House? Read my lips. No more taxes. George Bush Sr. walking around saying he promises no more taxes, no more raising taxes, which he did. Or Ronald Reagan talking about still building the Star Wars plan. You know, I mean, eventually Bill Clinton be walking around, right? Bill Clinton eventually going to be passing away soon, right? He's got to be on somebody's list on the deathbed. Now, can you imagine Bill Clinton as a ghost walking around the White House? I'm sorry, females. If you're a female, I would not want to work inside that White House after Bill Clinton's dead, because if your skirt feels like it's going up, it's probably Slick Willie. You got to watch out for Slick Willie. But is that the reason why the White House is a bigger story? I don't know. But the thing is, the White House, you don't really have night tours, right? I think there are some tours, but they're not haunting tours. And I have never really talked to anybody personally who's ever said they've seen anything quite evidence of the White House being haunted. I've heard some people say that about Winchester. You know, so is the White House stories like even made up? That's the question. That's what we're here for. So right now, I'm going to go look at the voting tab, see where we're at. So as of right now, we only got 14 votes. We got 79% Winchester and 21% the White House. Yeah, because there's more evidence in a way that the Winchester's haunted versus the White House. Because you know what the White House should do? Maybe I should go make a phone call to Joe Biden. Say, hey, Biden, yo, Biden, let my team go in there at night and do a paranormal investigation, right? I mean, like Joe, you know, it'd be great. You know, you might get some votes out of it. You know, showing a regular Joe, a regular blue collar person, letting him do a paranormal investigation at the White House. It'd probably give him some a boost in ratings, right? You know, so when I make that phone call to Joe Biden, I'll let you guys know what he says. Like he would ever take my call, correct? He would never take my call. Before we play the first video of the history of Winchester, so to kind of give you an idea of Winchester, then I also have a video on the White House ghost. So maybe that those videos could be enough to change your mind on the vote, because you can change your vote on this, you know. But before we start, I just want everybody to know, yesterday I was a guest appearance on Karen Holton TV. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you guys will, I would love if you guys would maybe after this show, go jump watch it. I did a great interview with her. It was a fun interview, and I appreciate her inviting me onto her channel. Now, the problem I actually had in the beginning was to get on her channel, I had to use Zoom. And to try to log in on my computer, on my computers, there was an update for Zoom. And my computers wouldn't take the update. Would not take the update. Restarted the computer, tried different browsers. And because it would not take the update, I could not use my computer to go on her channel. So I actually used my tablet. Now, the funny thing about the tablet was I was using that. So the audio quality might not be as good as this. But she was right here on the screen. So if I was staring straight at her, my eyes would look like I'm looking over here, because the tablet camera was on the left. So I had to stare at this little image on the left of her like I'm looking straight at her. So it was kind of fun. It was odd. But you know what? The show goes on. The interview was great. I had a fun time. If you guys get a chance, jump over there, give her a thumbs up, and let her know if you've never been to her channel. Let her know you're checking it out through me. That'd be fantastic. But beyond that, we're going to play the first video. The first video is going to be on Winchester. This is a little bit of the history on why Winchester was built. So if you never heard of, why Winchesters even exist, well, this is fantastic. You get to learn something here today, and that's great. Here we go. Let me play this video.
Picture a mansion with 160 rooms, 10,000 panes of glass, 17 chimneys, 47 fireplaces, doors that lead to nowhere.
You guys hear that? Over like 136 stairs or whatever they said in there. All those doors and rooms, and I mean, it's kind of crazy. Remember, these were built in the days where everything was built by hand. I mean, built by craftsmanship, real craftsmanship. Not nowadays where everything's pre-production made and then they slap everything together like Legos. These houses back in those days were really, truly built. And to build that house the way that woman wanted it, man, just that alone, that structure is amazing in itself.
Stairs that lead to nowhere, and even a wardrobe that opens into 30 extra rooms. While it may sound like something out of a strange fantasy movie, it actually exists in San Jose, California, and the story behind the person who built the house is just as strange as the house itself. Sarah Winchester was the wife of gun tycoon William Winchester of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. The company was famous for its rifles, especially the Model 1873, which became known as the gun that won the West. When William died of tuberculosis in 1881, Sarah inherited around $20 million, which is around $500 million today.
20 million bucks back then is worth $500 million today. So, weapons, making weapons is big money, big manufacturer money. Part of the reasons why, none of these factories want guns to be banned, because the money they making weapons is just through the roof. Of course, now these manufacturer gun companies, now they make billions and billions of dollars. So unfortunately, weapons will never be fully banned. If you think they should be banned, I come from a family of hunters, so I take a different point of view than that. But weapons will never be fully banned, because the amount of money that is made, the amount of money that these congressmen, senators get behind the scenes is dramatic. And you don't want to get rid of that money, kind of like oil. You don't want to get rid of that oil money and the weapons manufacturer companies, because behind the scenes, what kind of feeds the government, people to make money on the side. It's big money. It's big money.
And also inherited 50% ownership of the Winchester Arms Company. Sarah had already been struggling with depression over the death of her infant daughter years ago, and her husband's death seemed to send her over the edge. She was obsessed with the notion that she had been cursed by people who had been killed by Winchester rifles. She sought the help of a medium named Adam Coons, who held a seance and claimed to channel her husband when he told her that she needed to move west and build a home for the ghosts of people who had fallen victim to Winchester rifles. Even though the psychic was likely a scam artist, Sarah believed them wholeheartedly. So in 1884, she packed her bags and moved to San Jose, California, and began construction on her ghost.
Now think about that. Back in those days, the funny thing is, the more things change, the more they stay the same. They're still scam artists to this day. Scamming. That's something that never ever goes away. Shit. Scamming now is on a huge, bigger level. God damn, how many times you get your phone and now you get this text? How are you? You guys got those texts, right? Hey, I missed you last night. And they want you to respond because they want to trap you. There's everywhere scam artists. Your emails that you get, these fake stores, fake this, fake viruses, fake everything. Scamming is out of control. But back in those days, scamming was a little bit less because there was less people. Of course, there wasn't social media. So a lot of these scam artists could get away with everything. Now, not saying the person who gave her the advice to build this house, because all the ghosts saying that she talked to her husband. I don't know the person. I wasn't living back then. So I can't tell you for a fact that the person was a scam with her, but most likely it was probably a scammer. House.
22 carpenters work year-round, 24 hours a day, for 38 years to placate Sarah's every wish. They work without a floor plan, following her directions to a T, even if they make no sense. Like building the door upstairs that led nowhere and that would plunge you to the ground below if you stepped through it.
I'm pausing it on purpose because this is an awesome point. And this was during the height of the spiritualist movement. Many were seeking comfort from their losses from the Civil War. I mean, think about it. That is so true. You know, a lot of families were losing their husbands, their kids through the Civil Wars. I mean, think of all wars, and the thought of losing somebody. You know, it's different. People can take loss in different ways. Some people lose their minds. In this case, you know, they're saying Miss Winchester lost her mind because of it, you know. So, but I mean, he died of a sickness, but you know what I mean. So having a loss can put you in a spot where scammers know you're weak. You know how they say possession, demons, you know, they look for the person that is down on their luck, looking for the person who might, you know, be a drunk, drugs, to, you know, possess them. So people feed off people who are, I'm not saying everybody's mental, but you know what I mean? They're in the low part of their life due to loved ones or whatever. Especially when you're a parent and you lose a kid. I mean, you're probably just struck. And there's people, I mean, shameful people that is willing to jump in. And what's Paranormal Pixie's talking about back in those days, spiritually, was on the rise. You know, so people were abusing it. You know, and then don't get me wrong, there was a lot of real ones, but there was also a lot of fakes.
At one point, the house was 7 stories tall, but the 1906 earthquake knocked 3 stories off. You have to wonder why Sarah Winchester was hell-bent on tirelessly adding to her house. She believed that the spirit would curse her if she ever stopped, and indeed, she took the earthquake as a sign of their anger. Some believe that she built the house as a labyrinth of sorts, trying to confuse the ghosts so that they would have trouble finding her. It's rumored she slept in a different bedroom every night. There are over 40 bedrooms in the house, so she had plenty of choices. Sarah died on September 4th, 1922, and only then did the construction of the house cease. She was 83 years old. The Winchester Mystery House is now open to tourists who wish to witness firsthand the strange architecture.
You know, that's pretty good. To live through 83 back in those days without the, you know, I mean, a lot of people don't make it 83 nowadays, but to really make it to 83 in those days, wow. I mean, wow. And again, like I said, they have tours here. I'm going to play another Winchester video about the tours. You know, you can go on tours now. You know, if you're in California, you know, you don't have to go there just for an haunting. You could go there to see how this house was built. With all this, I mean, it'll just blow you away. Watch, let's check out some of the tour here. Hold on.
Bay Area Halloween Traditions is back. It's walking through the Winchester Mystery House in the dark.
Ooh, very spooky. As KPIX5's Len Ramirez shows us, it's part of a new paranormal experience where the mystery lives on.
Well, we're inside the Winchester Mystery House, and this is where Sarah Winchester lived and died. And it's said that her spirit is still inside this building. And you, too, this Halloween can make an appearance, or if you prefer, a disappearance in this hallowed mansion. The staircase that leads to nowhere. The dead-end doorways and the mazes built inside the Victorian mansion to confuse the spirits that haunted Sarah Winchester are all part of what for many is a paranormal experience.
We came during the day because it's pretty spooky and we wanted to make sure we were safe during the daylight hour.
Tours had to be cut back last year because of COVID, but they're booking fast this Halloween as the Mystery House makes a comeback with a new All Hallows Eve experience.
We have an indoor tour called Lost in the House that happens at night, and it is sort of a ghost investigation gone wrong that you actually take part in. The whole estate is activated in ways that we've never done with this jack-o'-lantern trail.
The house has been open for tours since 1923. The surrounding neighborhood has now been transformed in ways Mrs. Winchester could never have imagined. Santana Row is across the street, and new high-rises have sprung up all around the old mansion.
And even as the area gets developed and Silicon Valley gets bigger and bigger, our attendance only grows, and people really, I think, are moved by the story.
How much grief she experienced in a short amount of time.
And many say being here is like taking part in a spooky story, at least for those who do believe in ghosts.
I do. I feel like I've seen a ghost or two in my life.
Good evening, Len Ramirez, KPIX5.
All right. So that's the history of the Winchester house. So would that be enough for you to put your vote in for the Winchester house on why it's haunted? Is that the bigger story for you? Well, that's the Winchester side. Now, I'll tell you guys what I'm going to vote for after I show videos on both sides. It's only a fair thing to do, right? So let's check out what we're going to do now is we're going to check out the history of the White House, about its hauntings, to see if your vote could be swayed or not. So we're going to be looking, look at that man. Look at Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. He's not as good looking as me, but you know. Let's check out the history of the White House.
The White House is perhaps the most iconic building in the United States. There are many stories to be told about the White House, but few capture the imagination of generation after generation, like ghost stories. Is the White House haunted? There's no shortage.
I'm going to pause it for a second, just for a second, because somebody in the chat, where was it? Rockhouse wrote, what you guys are thinking, literally a zombie living in the White House right now? You know, my friend, I have another channel that I don't really do anything at all anymore on there. And the funny that you said that, on my other channel, I'll put a link to it. It's called President Joe Biden, his daily routine. There's a lot of copyrights in it, so I can't really show it, but you're talking about zombies. Joe Biden waking up, zombies. So I this is the most stupidest video you'll ever see. There's a lot of clips so there's a lot of copyrights, so I can't show it on this. But am I? I'm not off the air, am I? No, I'm not off the air. Sorry about that. So, because okay, so there's the link. So if you want to check out that Joe Biden waking up as a zombie, there you go. So beyond that, let me get back to the video. Sorry about that.
Spooky tales to be told about 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Stories of ghosts, mysterious noises, and strange sensations span back to the mid-19th century. The White House has had several deaths occur within its walls, including Presidents William Henry Harrison, Zachary Taylor, and First Lady Ellen Wilson. But there are even more ghost stories about White House residents and visitors who died elsewhere. The ghost of President Andrew Jackson has been seen and heard through the 19th and 20th centuries, haunting the White House, perhaps as an echo of his long-held political grudges. Jackson supposedly lets out a deep, guttural laugh from his former bed, now in the Queen's bedroom. President Abraham Lincoln is perhaps the best known of all White House ghosts, and is the most commonly seen and felt. The Lincoln bedroom, used by Abraham Lincoln as his office, has been host to many reported apparitions, perhaps signs that President Lincoln is communicating from the afterlife. Indeed, the Lincoln family itself was no stranger to grief during their time in the White House. When their young son Willie passed away in 1862, to work through her sorrow and seek a connection with her departed son, First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln held seances in the Red Room, which provided her great comfort. The ghost...
Hey, you guys know that? Interesting, right? Abraham Lincoln's wife, because they lost their son, did a seance. And what did it say? It was Red Room? Hold on. Go back here. Hold on. I'm going back for a second.
Away in 1862. To work through her sorrow and seek a connection with her departed son, First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln held seances in the Red Room, which...
In the Red Room. You know, that the Red Room is always kind of famous because the Red Room, Amityville Horror, the Red Room. But think about that. I can see where the haunting can really be created in the White House because doing a seance, unless I'm wrong, Paranormal Pixie, Laura, and Amber Paraworld that was in the chat, they could have opened up a portal, right? Doing a seance, open a portal to allow more ghosts. Or, you know, who even knows that the ghosts that are there are technically the presidents? Couldn't technically, if they did a seance and they let in some bad spirits and they're using, the images of past presidents to fool you? Because it seems like whoever becomes president, none of them does their job. None of them really cares about the small people, right? Is it because they're possessed by demons are these presidents get possessed by the demons? So they want the rich and powerful to stay above, to kick us down, because that's when the devil could get through us. So are they using the presidents? So maybe those ghosts walking around is not really the ghost of the president. What if it's a demon? They had a seance. They probably opened that door, right? I'm kind of just saying.
Provided her great comfort. The ghosts that haunt the White House aren't just those of presidents and their families. One ghostly visitor still seeks an audience with the president. A ghostly woman named Anna Surratt is said to bang on the doors of the White House, desperately begging for a pardon for her mother, a conspirator in the assassination of President Lincoln. Another lost soul on the White House grounds is that of an unknown British soldier who perished during the burning of the White House during the War of 1812. He's seen roaming the grounds, holding a torch. Guests in the iconic and elegant East Room have reported smelling fresh laundry and lavender, perhaps an echo of when First Lady Abigail Adams hung her wash in the unfinished room in 1800. The Yellow Oval Room on the second floor has also been host to ghosts of President Thomas Jefferson and David Burns. Burns once owned the land the White House occupies, and he's sometimes seen or heard whispering, "I am Mr. Burns." First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln reported that she heard the ghost of President Thomas Jefferson playing the violin in the room. Many White House residents reported hearing bizarre...
Anybody can answer this question? I never thought about this question. The Pentagon was created after Lincoln, right? I actually don't know when the Pentagon was first created. That's a damn good question. The Pentagon's located in Arlington, Virginia. Of course, 6.2 million square feet. When was the origin? Let me see here. The origins of the Pentagon. In 1941, the War Department, racing to prepare for the possible war with Germany and Japan, face July. I don't know. So maybe around 1941. But I'll play the rest of the video. Somebody can research on exactly when the Pentagon was created for Dana. I appreciate that.
Bizarre noises in the White House in the dark of night, from eerie piano music to strange sounds in the hallways, and White House pets have refused to enter certain rooms or barked frantically at unseen disturbances. Is the White House haunted? You can learn more and decide.
Okay. Now, I got another video of more about the haunting of Abraham Lincoln. So, let's and then I'll play these videos, and then maybe we'll talk about on the differences between the Winchester and the White House.
There's a lot of people who talk about Lincoln's ghost living in the second floor residence of the White House. Of course, there's a bedroom named for him, the Lincoln bedroom. He didn't actually sleep there, by the way. It was his office, but it's now a bedroom. And from time to time, you hear stories told about strange happenings in the middle of the night. Probably most famously, perhaps, is Ronald Reagan, whose dog Rex would bark at the room as if there was somebody in there and would refuse to go in. And on another occasion, according to Reagan, he stood up on his hind legs and was staring at the ceiling, which is something that the dog didn't do, had ever done before. I'm not saying I believe in ghosts, Reagan wrote in his autobiography, but it nearly made me a believer. I think in some ways people might like the idea that Lincoln is still hanging around watching over us.
All right. So let's look at it. You have Winchester, you have the White House. So Winchester has more history, has where you could say on one end, the woman went crazy, a fake scan told her to build this magnificent home. Magnificent. So on one end, the home is way more magnificent as the White House. I mean, no offense, the White House is not pretty. It's just popular because, the presidential stuff. So to me, Winchester, the build of the house outweighs, the White House all the way. But the quality of the ghost, I know, right? The quality of the ghost. The quality of the ghost. I guess you could say the White House has bigger quality of the ghost because you got Abraham Lincoln walking around. You probably got Ronald Reagan, George Bush Sr. walking around. Pretty soon you'll have Slick Willie walking around. John Kerry. I'm forgetting all our past presidents. One day you'll walk in a room, I am not a crook. Nixon could be a ghost. So I guess you could say the quality of the ghost are greater at the White House. So I guess, if you're doing an investigation, if you could talk to a ghost, would you rather talk to a ghost at the White House than Winchester House? I mean, think about it. If I can actually physically talk to a ghost, maybe Reagan, Abraham Lincoln, Nixon, whoever, maybe they can tell me some secrets about the White House. Maybe you could talk to the ghost of JFK. Maybe he will tell you who really shot him or the biggest conspiracy in the world. Wouldn't that story be a breakthrough? Sitting there talking to a ghost. Think about this. We all know Trump's dying soon. That big guy, I don't know, that big guy can't live another 3 years. Say he died and he haunts the White House. Imagine if you could talk to the ghost of Trump when he's in the White House. Oh my God, there's nothing classified there, right? He'll tell you everything. So the stories you could probably get from a White House technically would be a lot greater than Winchester. So in that point, that could be the bigger story, right? That could be the bigger story. Jacko shot Jackie. Maybe you could talk to Jackie. Maybe Jackie would tell you that she was behind the conspiracy as a ghost. So the quality of the ghost and information that you could probably get will be a lot stronger at the White House. Maybe that's your bigger story. Okay? But think about this also now. Think about the Winchester side. Seriously, people, think about this. Let's just say the stories of the Winchester and the White House are both 100% true. There's no exaggerating. There's none of that. Say both stories are absolutely true. if they're absolutely true, think about the power of the Winchester. No, seriously, think about this. Now, the main story goes is the hauntings at the Winchester are not people who died there, except for Winchester herself. Is the story goes that the ghosts there are from everybody who died from a Winchester gun. Seriously, think about that. How powerful, in theory, okay, in theory, say I was walking in the mountains, walking in the park, or whatever. Somebody comes out with the Winchester gun, unfortunately ends my life. No, ends my life. You would think, in theory, that my ghost would either maybe be there on the spot where my life ended, or my ghost will go back to my house, kind of like the presidents will go back to the White House, because that is the most important job in the world, right? Or maybe you want revenge, you want to go after the guy who pulled the trigger. But instead of all that, the ghost decides not to haunt the guy who pulled the trigger. I'm going to haunt the owners who built the weapon in the first place. Seriously, think about that. How powerful is that? That all these ghosts, instead of haunting to the spot where they're at, their own house, they're haunting the place who built the weapons in the first place. It'd be like also like somebody stabbing me with this knife that's made by I don't know, Swartzy Company. Swartzy built this knife. And somebody took that Swartzy knife in my life. Instead of me going after him, I go after the company who built it. Wow. Think about that. That's some powerful shit. It's almost like there had to be voodoo power to say everybody who got killed by a Winchester gun, this is going to be the house. This is going to be your heaven or hell. This is going to be your place. That's power. Nobody really thinks about that. That's power of people's lives. Instead of going to heaven or hell, going after the person that got you or where you're at, your own house, you're going to one of the owner's houses. That's power that I've never seen before. So when I sit here and think about it, when I think about it in that point of view, I'm going to have to say for myself, I'm going to pick Winchester as the bigger story. Because that story alone, if that story was true, how powerful is that? All the ghosts, all the people that got killed by the Winchester gun goes to that house. The magic and the power to be able to pull that off, to me, would be the greater story. Because at the end of the day, if I was able to talk to Abraham Lincoln, okay, that's great. Oh, you said that at Gettysburg? Oh, that's awesome. How many women you cheated on your wife? Oh, 20? That's great. But beyond that, that's it. There it goes. They go back to the most powerful job in the world. But the people who get killed by the weapons, they go to that house? I'd be like, how? Who sent you there? How do you even know? Think about this seriously. How do you even know that person built the Winchester gun, or the wife or the husband? The intelligence of that ghost to be able to go to that house. Going to the White House for a ghost is easy. That's the White House. You're the president there. Of course you're going to go there and visit. But you were killed by a gun and somehow to go to the Winchester house? That is some power, baby. That is some real power. So right now, let's look at the votes. Let's look at the votes. Let me see here. So right now we have 24 people that voted, and 67% is picking Winchester over 33% in the White House. And remember, guys, everybody has different reasons on why something's a bigger story, right? Because like I said, the quality of the ghost at the White House is going to be a lot greater than the quality of the ghost at the Winchester. But how did the ghost get there from a bullet that another person killed you, and you, instead of you going after him, you go into the house who was part owner, not even the husband who built the factory. You're the wife. If the stories, I'm talking about in theory, if the stories are bigger. So again, I know you voted there, but let's talk about it in the chat. Let's talk about it in the chat. Actually, here, let's do this. Let's do another battle, another fight. Let's take Mrs. Winchester, ghost. If Mrs. Winchester goes into the ring with with Abraham Lincoln, who will win that fight? So if Abraham Lincoln and Miss Winchester go heads on to a fight, who would win? So pick one for Winchester, that she will win the fight against Abraham Lincoln, and put two if you think Lincoln will beat up Winchester. Remember, Miss Winchester is insane. And when you're insane, you're way more powerful than another ghost. So who will win that ghost fight? Right now in the chat, put it right there. Winchester for one, that she will win the fight against Lincoln. Two, that Lincoln will win the fight. This is exciting. Let's see what we got. Come on, people, put it in. Put it in the chat. Let's see it. All right, JoJo says that mean bitch would beat the fuck out of Lincoln. I like that. Because she's insane. Remember, she went insane. So why is that important? She wouldn't feel pain. I know they're both dead, but let's just say they're alive. All right. I'm sorry. I skipped some people. Hold on. Terry Brown says Lincoln will win the fight. Okay. Going for the manpower over the woman. I get it. I'm from the UK. Either of the stories are great. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. I get that. Okay. In a ring, but in theater, I pick Miss Winchester. Jenny will pick so you are gonna pick one. You're gonna pick Lincoln that could beat up Winchester. Let's see what Danny picks. Miss Winchester wins because Abby was a gentleman and wouldn't hurt a female. Logic. Well, as we know it. You don't know what they're really like behind the scenes. All we know, Abraham's is a prick behind the scenes, and you know, he really does some slapping around. We don't truly know, right? We think he's a good guy, but is he really? We'll never know. My thoughts too. Lincoln fought vampires. Yes, he did. God, that was the wasn't that the Tim Burton movie? What was that movie called? Was it Abraham Lincoln the Vampire Slayer? Well, I'm trying to. What was that movie called? I forgot what that movie was called. Wasn't it done by Tim Burton? I can't remember. Shoot, I'm having a Mandela effect here. Lincoln vampire movie. Hold on. I gotta figure this out. Let me see here. Lincoln Vampire. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I was right. So that's called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Okay, it came out 2012. Film directed by Timur Bakamatov. Oh, Okay. I don't know why I thought that Tim Burton was involved with that vampire movie. Oh, no. Hold on. The film was produced by Tim Burton. So Tim Burton was involved in that movie. So he was a producer, not the director. Hey, that might be a Mandela effect because I thought he directed it. But okay. 1, never deal with a crazy woman. Dana B, you ain't kidding. You know, you don't mess with a crazy woman. They will mess you up. Lincoln was great bar knuckle boxer. Good point. Smart thinking, Dana B. Dana, I agree, Dar. I love that. I love it. Let's see here. My wife alive scares the hell out of me when she goes off. My wife is alive. That's a point, right? That's a good point, Mike Johnson. I love that. That's great. This is always fun. Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, yep. That movie was good. That movie was very underrated. I thought that was pretty smart on how they did that movie. Hello, cosmic neighbors. Now, I do got another video I'm going to show you guys. We got time here. This video is the Bush kids. The Bush kids say that they heard noises and they see some ghosts. Now, Mama Bush says she didn't. So let's check out this video on the kids talking about their ghost experience, but Mama says there is no ghost. Let's check it out.
And next, we talked about this one earlier, former First Lady Laura Bush, or as some of us know her around here, Jenna's mom. In an interview airing later today, Mrs. Bush sat down with Kelly Clarkson and debunked a long-standing theory that Jenna believes the White House is haunted. In case you've missed it, here's what Jenna had to say.
True or false? There are ghosts in the White House.
True.
Never going.
True.
Now, so right now the kids says the place is haunted. You know, so as of right now, so the kid says the place is haunted.
And I were going to sleep. Our rooms were right next to each other, and it was in college when people would call late. So our phone rang, and I woke up, and all of a sudden we heard like 1920s piano music coming out of our fireplace. And I was like,
that's creepy. Well, Mrs. Bush has her own theories. Here's what she told.
That's pretty freaky, right? Out of your fireplace, you heard 1920 piano? A piano playing of all places? Playing through a fireplace? Now let's see what Mama Bush says.
Kelly.
I'm not sure if you know this, but today is National No Dirty Dishes Day. Did you ever experience that?
No, we'd never. I think Barbara and Jenna were the ones that felt like that it was haunted and pretended like they heard voices, and it's probably just the Secret Service talking down the hall in another room that they heard. But.
No, I think it's haunted. How can a house be around that long enough?
Jenna would never exaggerate.
Now, okay. I get to the point where she's saying that she could have heard voices that are the Secret Services down the hallway. I wouldn't debate that, but with that Secret Service be playing piano? Secret Service. That's job is for the White House. They want to be playing piano. So I understand the theory that if they heard voices, it could be people from down the hallway. I get that. But what's trippy about the kid story is the piano part. They're saying it sounded like in the 1920s. You know, I'm not saying a Secret Service wouldn't know how to play a piano, but they're not going to be playing a piano on the job. Especially when your job is to protect the president, his wife, and the kids. Come on. So, I don't know if that's enough. I don't know. That's not really evidence because it's all secondhand information. Well, actually, the kids are firsthand information. You know, you have to believe their story in the first place. So let's see what anybody else says. Why would music come from the fireplace? That's true too. Why would music come from the fireplace? I'm just taking a shot here. I'm just taking a shot. Maybe the fireplace is a portal. You know, like the entry to time. I'm not saying time travel and all that, but maybe it's just like a portal. You know, everybody says that in the paranormal world that there are portals that ghosts come through in different places. So I can see a portal being in a fireplace because, I mean, would you crawl in a fireplace to check out the portal, whatever? So you know, I'm just giving a theory that maybe the fireplace is a portal, and that would explain why she heard the piano music. Also, the mom says the kids heard talking, not music so much. In denial. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I said, I understand the mom's having a great explanation for the voice. Here, let's listen to it again. Let's listen to it again. Come on.
Never. Later today, Mrs. Bush sat down.
Here, let's go back to a second. Let's hear the story again.
A long-standing theory that Jenna believes the White House is haunted. In case you've missed it, here's what Jenna had to say.
True or false? There are ghosts in the White House.
True.
Never going.
True. Barbara and I were going to sleep. Our rooms were right next to each other, and it was in college when people would call late. So our phone rang, and I woke up, and all of a sudden we heard like 1920s piano music coming out of our fireplace. And I was like,
that's creepy. Well, Mrs. Bush has her own theories. Here's
now, Freaky Geek, you're kind of correct. She never mentioned about voices. She just said, you know, she heard music. Now, the Mama Bush is the one who brought up the voices. Let's hear her again. Let's hear the mom again.
That's what she told Kelly.
I'm not sure if you know this, but today is National No Dirty Dishes Day. Did you ever experience that?
No, we never. I think Barbara and Jenna were the ones that felt like that it was haunted and pretended like they heard voices, and it's probably just as.
I like that they pretended they heard voices, but of course, the daughter was talking about music. She never mentioned about voices, so it must have been another time that they talked about hearing voices. And I don't think she should have said pretended. She just said, you know, because you know, it wouldn't be pretended because if they heard a voice, even if it's the security people from down the thing, they really heard the voices. They weren't pretending. So I don't know if she should have used the words pretending because it makes it like they're lying, right? It's almost like, you know, when people saying, you know, like all those pilots who says they're seeing these fast UFOs or whatever, like crazy UFOs, all this kind of stuff that you know, they're not lying. They really saw something. Might not be as what they thought or the size of it, but they really saw something. They really heard something. So I don't know if she should have used the word pretend because in a lot of ways, it is kind of an insult. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think she meant it to be an insult because anything you learn about Laura Bush, she loves her family, and I got nothing ever bad to say about Laura Bush. Now, Hillary Clinton, that's another story. But Laura Bush has never given me any reasons on saying she's a bad person. But it is a little bit of an insult saying they pretend. What's it say? Sounds like the Bush family needs to get on the same page and get their story straight. Even in the ghost world, you know, they don't get their story straight. Sorry about that. Ghost took me away. The ghost took me away. When I went to take out the video, I took myself out of it. So that wasn't the government getting me, ticking me off saying, hey, you can't talk about the presidents of the White House. I don't remember Laura Bush having those. Danny Stanton, what you just experienced there is a Mandela effect. Kind of like the famous Bigfoot of Buff Creek. Didn't never have boobs. Now it does. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like it. What a do I have I thought I had I don't. So all right. Let's look at the final votes before we get close of ending our show. Let's take a look. All right, so now we got 28 votes. 68% says Winchester, and the 32% says the White House. So as of now, the winner of the battle is Winchester. Winchester House. That's the winner. All right, that's all, everybody. Let's give Winchester, they won the battle fight. They overtopped the White House. But everybody who voted for the White House, listen, you know, whatever's the bigger story is up to you on why something's a bigger story. So if you pick the White House, I fully understand. My main reason that I said that I'm picking Winchester is because if both stories are true. Now, we're basing this battle on if both stories are true. It's pretty amazing that the Winchester is haunted by the people who got killed by the gun. To even them to know, instead of haunting the person to kill you, you skip it and go straight to the house of the woman's of the woman who owns 50% of the company. Now, if she owns 50% of the company, what about the other 50? What about the other person who owns the house? And you know what? I should have looked that up. Never thought about looking on who was the other half owner of Winchester and if they were ever haunted. I never thought about looking at that. Never thought about looking about that. Now let's look into tomorrow's real quick. Give me a second here. I want to because tomorrow is going to be fun. Give me a second. I want to pull up tomorrow's show for a second. Tomorrow is going to be fun. I'm going to explain it tomorrow. Give me 1 second. Let me share the screen. Tomorrow is going to be fun, guys. That's not it. That is weird. Let me go back to share screen again. Here we go. Tomorrow's show is the scariest mythical creature that will give you nightmares. So tomorrow, myself, Dr. Wu is coming back on, and Danny Stanton. So myself, I'll be coming in tomorrow with who I think is the creature that will give you the nightmare. And then Dr. Wu is going to come in with his creature that he feels that will give you nightmare. And then Danny Stanton is going to give you his creature on what he thinks is the creature that will give you nightmares. And then tomorrow, I want you guys to come back tomorrow. I would love if you guys come back tomorrow. I really would. Come back tomorrow and tell us, who do you think is the cryptid creature that will give you nightmares? It could be based on folklore, mythological. I can't even talk now. Cryptids, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm going to have my creature. Dr. Wu's going to have his creature. And Danny's going to have his creature. And I want you guys to do your research tonight and find out what creature scares you. And hey, listen, this could be a creature that maybe is from your own state. You know, a lot of states have their own famous thing. You know, like Washington is famous for the Bigfoot. And I'm not saying Bigfoot's going to give you nightmares. I mean, that maybe You know, like Michigan. Michigan, you could say the Dog Man is Michigan's. You know, West Virginia, Virginia, the Mothman. So it could be a local folklore, world folklore. It could be anything. So tomorrow is going to be fun. And then look, Cosmic Neighbors. Oh, I know one for sure that will. Yeah. And Cosmic Neighbors, if you're home, you want to jump on to tell us your creature, let me know and I'll jump on. Anybody in the chat, if you have a creature, when we get to the part where we tell ours, if you want to jump on yourself to tell us your creature and why you think it's the most scariest for nightmares, we all want to hear it because we're all family here. Every single one of us, we're family. I love you all. You guys are all fantastic. And I hope you guys are really enjoying these type of shows lately, the fun battles. They're just fun because it's like, it's not about the battle itself. It's about the information, maybe learning about the two, whatever the stories are. Today's just happened to be Winchester. It happened to be the White House. Yesterday was the Bigfoot and the Dog Man. We get to learn the stories and then have a fun little battle. So come back tomorrow. I really appreciate it. If you can, people, please, after the show, please leave me a comment. I still don't get a lot of comments. I appreciate the people who do leave me comments. Leave me a comment. Let me know in the chat, like in the comments. If we missed some information about the White House or Winchester, leave me a comment. Leave some information that we left out that you think is very important to the conversation. Because this is all this channel is about, is creating a conversation. That's it. And then where the conversation goes is up to all of us. That's how I always started the show. This channel is where we start a conversation. It doesn't matter where we go. There's no right or wrong. It's just about sharing information, having fun, and all that. Because we all need fun in our life, right? We all need fun. Life, I tell people all the time, life itself is hard. Living life is hard. Bills, taxes, busting your butts, surgeries, not surgeries, life, death. I mean, just life itself is freaking hard. And if this hour of a show can release some of that just for that hour, that is the best compliment that I can ever take, that I can actually help you guys to release that hour, because life is hard, man. Life is hard. Sometimes you need to have fun with a little break and all that. So I hope I'm the person that you guys feel like you get to take a break, you get to relax, just come enjoy yourself. And beyond that, guys, remember, we're always looking, man. We're always looking for the truth. The truth is out there, but so are lies. So get in your vehicle, turn it on, get in there, start driving, because I will see you all next time on the Paranormal.